say, man, skeletons are holding up rather nicely. Yeah, here we go again. I was sitting down here. Wasn't shooting the boss man. Because the fucking shot was sitting there, you know, basically hitting off this cart over here. There's like no audio-visual feedback, so you don't know what's taking place. You know, for as much like positive feedback that this game has garnered over the years, I feel like somebody should have done a little bit more of a realistic review of this game, because I just feel like this game, it's very good. It's just, man, it's lacking the polish that I like just really desire. And it's not like I'm trying to be a dick, you know, just be overly critical about it or anything. I mean, I have to say that I do agree with the fact that, you know, chances are you're probably going to be more critical about something that you're really passionate about, or something that you actually care about, something that you actually love. And I do tend to agree with that. But I do have to say, it's just, I really want to love this game. I do. But I just don't. I can't. There are just so many, like, little things that just kind of add up for me. And I don't want people to misconstrue this. I'm not saying that I don't enjoy the game. I do, very much. Absolutely, I do. I just wish Crate Entertainment, like, I don't know, put that little extra oomph when making this game. It's just, it's lacking some quality of life features and some polish. And I'm sure there's people out there that will no doubt disagree with me, but because I know that every game out there, especially in this day and age, all this, like, I don't know, this consumeristic identity, this like zealotry with the corporate consumer products that you're worshiping, this new form of like neo-idolatry. You know, what I'm trying to say, though, is there's some fucking people out there that are, like, such big fanboys for whatever game or franchise, IP or whatever, that the game nor the company can ever do any wrong kind of thing. Like, it's beyond reproach. So, of course, there's going to be those people. I don't know. You know, I feel like I'm trying to be objective about my own subjectivity. You know, about my own interpretations and my own experiences playing the game. That's the best way I could put it. Trying to be objective about my subjectivity. And I think that's probably a fair way of putting it. We are getting close to the point where we're going to have to maybe go back home, Mr. Vendor Man. Hello there, skeletons. Come on. Come on, take him out. I should probably take my time and actually look for a mod that maybe, hopefully exists out there that might, you know, change the fact that the skeletons are down here and not up here. I just want consistency. That's all I want. You know, it totally makes sense to have them stacked like this, where you just see a number. But the fact that all of the rest of my pets are up here, you know, it's problematic, because now I gotta look at two different places. You know, I've said this before. I said this, I think, last night. And on my first stream, it's stuff like that. It's that kind of polish. You get these like kind of bizarro design decisions that I just don't get, that don't make any sense. And I feel like they kind of exist to the detriment of the player.
I can't carry anymore.
Bollocks. That means we can get into the jail. We're going to be able to actually put this to the test here
See what's left of my wares.
In just a moment. Let's see here. This armor here is salable. Same with you. It's much better. We should probably buy the scrap. And then the other thing too is probably could buy some spalders here, since they're like dirt cheap. Now I kind of wonder, about the ability to buy ribbons, if that like gets unlocked when you reach a certain level, or is it like a certain part in the progression of the game, or maybe I just have to unlock a certain person. I don't know.
The dead attacks have slowed and their numbers are thinning. A creature was doing? I need some time to plan our strategy. In the meantime, there are...
Perfectly safe illusions for a price.
Perfectly safe illusions. Fantabulous.
I'll give you a good price on what I've got left.
Just making my rounds here. Making sure that we talk to everybody, get all of our quests.
Greetings, child. My knowledge of spirits has... I'm afraid that troubled memory. My knowledge of spirits...
Slowly working my way over to the stash.
Safe storage, no questions asked.
Oh, no shit. Because the character technically exists, even though they're dead, is the whole reason why these items exist here. Interesting. Okay, well, it's good to actually have answered that question. So just to let everybody else out there know that are just joining me right now, that this character is 100% self-found. So the 5 items that you see here in the transfer stash are never going to be inside my inventory, my stash, or on my person. So the only time I'll actually possess them is if I was going to vendor them. So I figured we'll just get that out of the way right there. But then again, I'm really glad that we answered that question. All right, so we're gonna need the, what is it, 6 scrap again. So here, that's a component, and then this guy. So it requires 88 spirit. We could obviously get that because I completely forget that every time we bump up our mastery, that gives us increases to our attributes here. So 86, here we are. And I'm just gonna straight up like probably dump it all into physique. Now, as far as like equipping the the offhands, I'm not like trying to stay loyal to one or the other. I mean, I would prefer one that had all of the bonuses that I needed on it. Something like to stats, something to CDR, preferably something with some like health bonuses or resistances. Like shit like that. You know, if it has like a skill that procs, that's cool. I'd almost prefer a shield, only just simply because you know you're going to get hit eventually, and having that shield could literally mean the difference between life and death, you know, to the end of your campaign. So, with that being said, I would prioritize shields just in general.
Come see what's left of my wares. Iron well spent.
The captain send you over? Search.
I'm so pissed, man. The previous campaign just had so much scrap in it.
I saw you fight Riftgate. You don't remember anything, do you? You'll be looking for luck. Did you bring back the Aether Crystal? Excellent. These will do perfect. Ah, very good. I'm sure a little... I have to say, I do...
I don't remember how many of those things he took. The Aether Crystals? It was like 4, wasn't it? I'm still a little nonplussed about what I want to do as far as a secondary class. I'm really torn. Because the Occultist Necromancer combo is just so good. It just has like such a natural affinity to it. Instead of buffing up my skeletons, I might just start dumping skill points into my mastery, just so I can unlock Blight Fiend, so I can at least get another summon. I could have swore I just picked up a blueprint. But I'm pretty sure I read Blunderbuss's blueprint. Gotta love that mild dyslexia. I'm not really liking the way my skeletons are performing. I feel like without me shooting these monsters and getting my DPS in there, like... these things would just take forever. To kill just basic trash mobs. See how they perform on this boss over here. Get rid of some of the riffraff first. So one thing I really like about this build, if you're a person that really likes to micro, or really good at kiting, I think the biggest complaint that I had with going Necromancer Occultist, being a Kabbalist, is there, to the best of my knowledge, from what I've seen, really aren't that good, or there's just no options for crowd control. And that sucks. Wow, this is pathetic. like a war of attrition, man. Yeah, I don't know if I can do a one-handed gun. It's terrible. In the beginning of the game, this is awful. It's just funny to me how much actual DPS I contributed in the previous campaign. You know, I was really curious about that too, by the way. You know, whether or not, like, my melee attacks were actually contributing enough to be significant. Oh, hell yeah, they were. I feel like, you know, when you're coming up with your build, especially if you're coming in from Diablo 2 or Path of Exile or something else, I think the biggest thing about making a build in this game is that you really got to ask yourself the specific questions about what you want to do with your build. You know, what do you actually want to accomplish? So I knew I was going to want to play a pet build. I knew I had that base covered. But as far as like what specifically I wanted to do with it, or how I wanted to operate, I didn't really get that far. I was just kind of wing it. But then the more and more I thought about it, and the more I looked at Grim tools and everything else, I started coming up with a kind of a better idea in my mind about what I wanted, what I expected, and what I was kind of hoping for. And honestly, what I'm looking for is a total pets. Like, I want big pets, and I want the pets to be like the main damage source, to the whole build itself to be focused on my pets, and everything else was going to be secondary to that. And then the next thing I wanted to do was basically, you know, something similar like what we had in Diablo 2, where we had the Necromancer with the curse. Basically, I just sit back and try to avoid damage, and just sit around and curse incoming enemies, and while my pets went over there and did all the damage. You know, pretty standard stuff. But then I was also hoping to actually get something that could replace my default attack, or at least like buff up my default attack, assuming that, like, you know, I was still going to be using a plain Jane default attack at the very end of the game, or at least, you know, in the mid to late game too. You know, I mean, obviously if it gets outclassed earlier than that, then we're gonna want to deal with it. But basically all I'm saying is that I wanted pets, and beefy pets, lots of pets, and then have like some sort of curse, and definitely like buffs, auras. And then maybe like some sort of a... Holy Jesus Christ. Oh my god. Get out of there. Getting crushed. Wow. That was a bit intense. I think we need to work on some resistances this time around. So I know I actually have some other enemies in here, so maybe I should perhaps concentrate on the environment first before I start dicking around with all the items in my inventory. I think it's funny that it actually highlights the scrap as a quest item over here in the minimap, by the way. I'm not really a big fan of that feature, because that little star can just about mean anything. And if you've got like multiple objectives in the same area, you could potentially have just multiple stars on the map, and you just don't know what they mean until you actually hover over them. it just becomes a big cluttered mini-map. So I think we pretty much killed all the monsters in here. I think we were alright. So we didn't get better armor. I'm thinking we should probably equip a shield. So this is going to be the way we'd want to go. Although it does require level 12. Yeah, I don't know. I think we might actually just be at that point in the game where we might just want to focus either on just raw DPS or raw defense, instead of just going the route that I'm going, where it's a little bit more specialized with offhands and things. Personally, I think what we should do is that. And then, furthermore, I think what we should also do is get a two-handed gun. As soon as I possibly can. And we're going to stick with a two-handed gun. Until much later in the game. That's all there is to it. Made up my mind. It's not so much that I made up my mind, it's just, I don't know. After test driving the whole one-handed firearm option, I just can't do it. My default attack is definitely contributing here, and because of that, I want to have more damage. I just feel like this is completely inefficient. We do have a level up that I keep forgetting about. Let's go ahead and take care of that. Oh, bink, bink, bink. So we have 7 points. Okay, so level 3 gave us 2 skeletons here. Good to go. I think what I should do is probably put these in mastery. Let's put 1 and 2 raised skeletons and the rest in the mastery. Because I do need to make them stronger. I mean, I don't want to forget about that. You know, the other thing that I really wish in that game, or in this game, that could be changed, it could be like a little bit of a quality of life kind of featurette, if you will, is that the cooldowns, these little portraits down here are really small, and to see like the little grayed out shadow cooldown indicator, it doesn't stand out really well. And in the heat of the moment, when I need to know if, like, you know, my stuff's like on half cooldown, I need to have this pertinent information available to me. So it's like if it's being obfuscated because it just simply doesn't stand out, it's a clear problem. I know some game companies would be like, well, could you please report it to our bug forums? Why didn't you go register for our forums and discuss down there? Because, motherfuckers, I don't want to express it on your goddamn forums. I don't want to do it. I don't want to deal with all your rest of your toxic fanboys.
My inventory can't carry anymore.
That are just trying to lick your damn bungho. I don't want to deal with that. No, thank you. Besides, this video is much, much better anyways. Because you get the evidence. It's all right here.
See anything you like?
Completely forgot where we get the upgrade for the bag. I think it was when we repaired the well. We do actually have a magical amulet here. The only thing we're missing is another ring. Well, anyways.
See you around.
I don't remember. I think we had a couple items that were still around here. We're going to come back to town. I'm going to give the dude the stuff, the shits, the items, the junk, scrap, that stuff. I think we're gonna do that, and then I'm gonna take a quick break because I needs one. What was the stuff that he was? Oh, some magical shoulder pads. It's pretty handy dandy.
See anything you like?
We will buy this other scrap.
Put it to good use.
And speaking of which, we could just actually do all of that right now. I don't even have to come back to my stash for this, but we're just going to dump off those couple of components. Let's see here. The salt bag, searing ember. Okay, so all these are just components. This shield is a little bit past our level, and then we have this potion here that I don't think I'm going to use. Lightning resistance? Okay.
It's safe with me. Promise.
Actually, shit, I don't remember how much scrap I actually had in my inventory. Or, I mean, in my stash. Because we may actually have enough, or maybe just missing one or two to be able to do both. To give Mr. Barnabas Collins his...
Get the scrap? Perfect.
His scrap, and then
get
give the bridge over here.
Well, good news is, I got the water pumping again, since I've cleared out this keel.
Okay, so what did I say I was going to do? I was going to go on to Grim Tools, and we're going to look up the skill progression for Undead Legion. Because I want to find out the other levels that you have to be at to get the increase to summon limit. Just found out that level 3 was the level that you needed for +2. I think it might be probably +7 or +8. Or excuse me, level 7 or level 8 to get the +3, I'm thinking. I'm going to take a look at that. And I was going to do something else. What was it? Oh, that's right. We were going to reboot the game. I was going to take off the ethereal reshade and see if that improved my stability of the game. Because it seems like I generally get like around 30 to 40 FPS. And I was getting that little bit of lag there. So I'll tell you guys what. We're going to put the little BRB image on, and then I'm going to get out of the game. And then when I come back, I'll actually take off the ethereal reshade and see if that... We'll test it out. Anyways, I'll see you guys in a few minutes. I'm going to go take a break.